Good morning, leopards. Mrs. Mueller here with your morning message for the week of January 8th. Now, all month long this month, we are reviewing and going over our behavior expectations. Our character trait this month is on self-management, managing your own actions, your own behaviors, and perseverance. Have you ever run up to something that is really hard? We all have. Perseverance means that we keep at it. We keep trying, even when things get hard. Now, some of the hardest things that you might have to do don't have to do with reading or math. They have to do more with our social interactions, things that come up with friends, things that come up with classmates. Those sometimes run into some of our biggest problems. So this month, we're going to go over what is expected. It's really important that that's the first thing. You know what is expected. What does it mean to be like a leopard in all areas? So your class and your teacher will spend time all month long going back over. So what is expected? Why is it expected? We have kind of some simple rules for our common areas. So as a class, you're going to find time, different days, but throughout the whole month to go over each of our common areas and what it means to be like a leopard, respectful, responsible, safe, and kind. But we know problems are going to come up. There are problems all the time. And so what we want to do this week is really be looking at, so how do we solve problems? I want to start with a story you might be familiar with. It's called The Day the Crayons Quit. Now, for one, if somebody's quitting, there definitely is a problem. I'm going to read through some, but try to talk through it mostly, and your class can come back and revisit this book as we start looking at, so how can we help solve problems? The Day the Crayons Quit by Drew Daywalt. Now, one day in class, Duncan went to take out his crayons and found a stack of letters with his names on them to Duncan. Hey, Duncan, it's me, Red Crayon. We need to talk. You make me work harder than any of your other crayons. And all year long, I'm wearing myself out, coloring fire engines, apples, strawberries, everything that's red. I even worked on holidays. I have to color all the Santas, the Christmas, all the hearts, the Valentine's Day. I need a rest. Your overworked friend, Red Crayon. So Red Crayon's problem is he feels taken advantage of. He feels like he's worked and depended on way too much. Dear Duncan, all right, listen. I love that I'm your favorite crayon for grapes, dragons, wizard hats, but it makes me crazy that so much of my gorgeous purple goes outside the lines. If you don't start coloring inside the line soon, I'm going to completely lose it. Your very neat friend, Purple Crayon. Now, Purple Crayon's problem is he has different expectations. He's neat and orderly, and Duncan is not appreciating his expectations. Let's read a couple more colors. Dear Duncan, I'm tired of being called light brown or dark tan, because I'm neither. I am beige, and I'm proud. I'm also tired of being second place to Mr. Brown Crayon. That's not fair that Brown gets all the bears, the ponies, the puppies, while the only thing I get are turkey dinners, if I'm lucky, and wheat. And let's be honest, when was the last time you saw a kid excited about coloring wheat? Your beige friend, Beige Crayon. I think Beige's problem is that he doesn't feel respected or appreciated for who this crayon really is. The book goes on, and you as a class might choose to come and look at this book again. And it talks about Gray Crayon. And his problem is he feels like everything is so big and that everything that he has to work so hard all the time. Then we come to our next color crayon, which, let's see if I skipped one. White. White kind of feels invisible on a page, like they're not really appreciated when they use them. They don't really show up. Our black only feels good for one thing, drawing lines around, and really wants to find their own place, that they could actually be that beach ball, not just only circle around it. Oh, green. Green's problem here is that yellow and orange are friends and they have a conflict. And it's a really yucky place to be in the middle of a conflict. So green's in the middle of yellow and orange, where yellow crayon feels that they're the ones who should be able to be the sun. But orange crayon says, I can be the sun. There's a conflict. All kinds of problems that keep going on in the book. Our blue, you know what? This blue is really overworked. They're used all up. This is used for so many things that they're just all short and tired. And then we have pink that, you know what? They were told only pink for some people, but really pink should be for all people. And so they're concerned about how we're only using pink. And then beige. The wrapper came off beige and they're kind of exposed. And he's embarrassed. Something happened that embarrassed them. All of these are problems that each of the individual crayons had. In life, we're going to have problems. And so part of what we're going to learn to do is how to solve problems. That's going to be our self-management and for sure our perseverance, because we're going to have to keep working at them. Sometimes problems don't get solved just like that. It takes persistence and keep trying and keep at it. Well, poor Duncan, he just wanted to color. And of course, he wanted his colors to be happy. And that gave him an idea. He problem solved. How can he meet the needs of so many different ideas? Everybody had a different perspective, meaning their thoughts and feelings were different in each of the problems. And that's what you're going to find as a class. When you come across problems that come up, whether it's on the playground, with a friend, in the classmate, learning how to overcome a challenge, each person has a different perspective, their thoughts and feelings about it that we have to consider. So let's see how Duncan solved it. When Duncan showed his teacher his new picture, she gave him an A for coloring. If you'll notice, right now, guess what? The sky isn't all blue. Blue didn't have to get used up. Yellow wanted to be a highlight. Yellow got to be a highlight. Blue didn't need to be the water. Green got to be the water. We have a pink dinosaur. Pink loves being a dinosaur. And then we have right over here, instead of a blue or a gray whale, remember those big animals were all gray? Orange. Orange got to be highlighted. That different people got their needs met. This month, we're talking about problem solving. And you have some resources to help you. One of the resources is your class, your community circle, your classroom coming together and really having time to talk about problems, gaining insight. What do others think? How do they feel? What might be some ideas? We have what we call a problem-solving wheel. Give some ideas for maybe some small problems, like those problems that happen often on the recess playground, like with a gameplay, that tether ball, somebody grabbed the rope, they didn't think they grabbed the rope, but other people thought they grabbed the rope. You might need to move to another activity or do a rock, paper, scissors. There's a problem-solving wheel. Oftentimes when problems come up, we have to make sure that we manage ourselves. So how are you going to build those skills? Because sometimes I saw red was angry. when they were writing. They felt very overused. And so with that, you have to learn, how do you calm yourself so that you can approach your problem? Ways that we do that, we love taking a deep breath, because that gets oxygen into your body, which your brain needs. That scientifically is why that's our first one. Whether you do like in like a flower, out like a candle, you do a 4 square breathing, you do 10 or 7 deep breaths. Deep breaths gets oxygen to your brain so that you're in a thinking brain, not just in a reaction brain. There's also asking for help. If you have problems on the recess, on the playground, we have our teachers out there, our supervision teachers, who are there to help. And so get help, because sometimes that actually takes more courage to do, is to go get help in a situation so that you can all work it through. And then our next thing is called steps. Steps is our second step strategy for solving problems. First, it's saying the problem. When you say the problem, we don't blame. We want to state, how are others thinking and feeling, and what are your thoughts and feelings? Then you think of solutions. Usually there's lots of different solutions, not just one. So you think of different solutions, you explore, okay, if I did this, then what would the outcome be? And then you pick your best solution and make your plan to move forward. This month, we're going to keep going over our expectations so you're clear on how we are like a leopard at LACMAS. And we're going to be working on our steps to problem solving. So as a class, I encourage you, maybe go to the book and look at what those problems were and how you might solve it. Or maybe you start listing some of your class problems that keep bubbling up. What comes in off the playground that maybe your whole class community can help solve, so that here at LACMAS, we're all respectful, responsible, safe, and kind, and that we're helping each other. Let's make it a great week, LACMAS.